All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Free Therapy Wednesday. Each week, we like to check in with our friend Dr. Laura Saunders for a kind of like a midweek mental health boost.
Yes, this week, real important topic. We're talking about the words you choose and how they can really matter, and when you're even crossing that line into verbal abuse. Dr. Saunders is joining us now. Hi, Dr. Saunders. Thanks for being here.
Hello, friends. Happy hot and humid Wednesday.
Ooh, doggy.
Yes, it's hot.
All right, so we're talking about the words that you use do matter. And you can say you're sorry after you use the words, but they still stick.
Absolutely. And, this is such an important topic to talk about because, domestic violence, physical abuse between partners, intimate partner violence gets a lot of headlines at times, sadly. But what we don't talk enough about is verbal abuse and how difficult and painful and damaging it is to engage in a pattern of verbal abuse, which is like a form of bullying within family relationships or close friendships.
So let's talk about what it looks like. Number one, name calling. I mean, put it into perspective for us. I think sometimes we've probably all yelled and said something we didn't mean, but on a repetitive, you're an idiot. Why do you always do this? That's considered.
You're stupid.
That's verbal abuse.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, especially when, to your point, Kara, when it's happening on an ongoing basis, right? Sometimes we all slip up and we all say something that we don't mean. But what we're talking about here is a pattern of speaking to someone and communicating that is insulting. It's name calling. You idiot, you're stupid, you're all sorts of terrible words. I don't even like to repeat them.
Right.
And when I give examples like this, one of the common themes is it's you're this, you're that, and right, it has this real negative quality, and it serves to beat down the emotional well-being of the other person.
Condensation. Condescension, pardon me.
The weatherman.
Right.
Said.
I'm a
Condensation is what's
weatherman.
happening with
I'm a
with the
weatherman.
windows.
I speak only in weather terms.
This is condescension, where you're condescending. You're constantly establishing a power dynamic where you are better than someone else. You're belittling someone. You're using a sarcastic tone. I get especially concerned when sarcastic tone is used a lot with children, because children can't always pick up on the sarcasm or the unintended meaning. And, children tend to take things a little more literally. And it can send a lot of mixed messages and confusion to children.
Yeah, okay. So good to know. You shouldn't be condescending anytime or sarcastic, but the kids don't really get it. Manipulation.
Why didn't I get that word? I know how to say that.
You want to say it?
Manipulation.
For 200.
Oh, yes, very good.
Thank you.
So yes, when you are leveraging someone's reality, why are you so disorganized? You always ruin family activities. So you're using a lot of criticism and or manipulation to really kind of leverage someone. You're pushing them to do something that makes them feel uncomfortable.
It's a lot of memories coming back from my parents' marriage. No joke. I mean, they were not good to each other at certain parts of their marriage.
Well, and I think that's part of it. I was going to ask, I think people get in unhealthy habits. We mirror what we grew up with. I mean, the next one is criticism. And, a lot of people are going to do some of this stuff on a regular basis and think, I'm not a verbal abuser. I'm not an abuser. I don't hit you. I don't this.
Right.
And what you're trying to make us aware is that verbal abuse can also really hurt and what it looks like.
Right. And to your point, when that's happening between the adults in the house, and that's what the children experience, right? It trickles down and affects them. I mean, the one that I think is really powerful that is not talked about enough is withholding and silent treatment, right?
Oh,
and I'm not talking about taking a little space. I'm talking about a level of kind of anger and withholding where you're not talking to the other person for days and days or weeks, right? That is a form of verbal abuse. It's really
even
goes
though they're nonverbal.
It's nonverbal, right? It goes unrecognized. And it's one thing to give someone space to let the dust settle, but it's a whole other thing when you are so emotionally withholding, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're withholding any emotional care or well-being for long periods of time. That's really becomes abusive to the other person.
So this is such an important topic, and we're going to take a deeper dive on the Kara's Cures podcast and TV shows. You'll be able to tune in and find it on Apple or Spotify. Just search Kara's Cures, because you're going to have some good advice, and maybe you have someone in your life that you want to listen to this with or just understand it better. So we're going to dive in.
Yes, and I really, I'm really happy that we're talking about this, because I think it's so important, because it goes so unrecognized.
Yeah.
We just want to let you know that it's so warm in this studio that Kara and I are condensing.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope for cooler days for each of you.
Where's the AC?
Have a great
Can
day.
we get to the popsicle part? Thank you, Dr. Saunders.
All right, still